Yeah, I was about to say, well, ready or not, here we are.
Here we go.
That was my goof. I forgot I wasn't in studio mode.
That's all right. We have no audio. We had no audio.
Throw
Do we have audio?
Well done.
Hello.
We should be good now.
Thank you, Narf. Thank you, everybody. We have been just getting ready anyway. That you were watching an intense view behind the scenes of us talking about mishaps in a game that we won't mention until we're introducing ourselves anyway. Hi, tech happens. We're going to get it on our shirts. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Onyx Path. I am Travis Legge. My pronouns are he and they, and I will be your storyteller for the evening. Tonight, we have a very special occasion. This is session 0 for the Contagion Chronicle. That's right, Chronicles of Darkness. We'll be running Tuesdays, at least throughout the month, showing off this little ditty that myself and a few of the other folks active in the Storytellers Vault community have put together with a tale called Fog Over Lyndon Station. And thanks so much for the hype train, folks. Woo! Good way to start off a stream. So, as I mentioned, we are running session 0 tonight. Tonight we will build our characters. We will meet our players. We will meet the world. We'll discuss how we intend to remain safe and have an enjoyable experience at this table. And then we will dive right into the actual tale itself next week. For those of you who might not be familiar with the Chronicles of Darkness, the Chronicles of Darkness is a world it's the world outside your window, but just a little darker. The shadows are a little longer, a little bit deeper. Things are a little bit more frightening. There's the noises in the night are a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more dangerous.
This is the world where when we say you should be careful before the boogeyman gets you under your bed or to make sure to close your closet door at night, there's always a reason.
Exactly. It is a scary place. Most people go about life either ignoring or doing their best to try not to process too much any horrors they might witness. And there are plenty of people who have a day-to-day existence that's largely untouched by the shadows. They might know someone who disappeared, or perhaps have heard the same urban legend enough times that they believe it to be true, but they have relatively mundane existences. I doubt very highly that's going to be where our characters in this will start, and I'm certain it will not be where they're at by the end of this thing. So before we get too far into meeting our folks and getting into the nitty-gritty, I do want to take a moment to remind everyone that this month is They Came From month over at Onyx Path. This is the 10-year anniversary of Onyx Path Publishing. Each month we have been focusing our attention on a different line. And this month we are focusing our attention on the They Came From games. The beginning of the month, They Came From Beneath the Sea, and all of its associated products are for sale at 10% of their cover price over at DriveThruRPG. That's not 10% off, that's 10% of. You can go pick up They Came From Beneath the Sea for the low price of $2 right now at the link I just threw in the chat. Also wanted to remind everyone that at the end of, at the last Friday of every month, we have Onyx Path Game Night. And I know there's already a couple of They Came From games getting set up right now through Start Playing Games, who's our partner in that endeavor. So I want to remind you to go check that out. It's a once a month event that we run as a opportunity for fans to get together and play games. You can, if you want to run games, you can earn a few bucks doing so. And it's just a fun chance to try out a game maybe you haven't tried before. So look into the Onyx Path Game Night last Friday of every month at Start Playing Games. I think I have paid the bills. So since I have done so and I have introduced myself, let's go ahead and take things clockwise, and let's have Will. Let's tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and if you have anything you'd like to promote, please do so.
Good day. I am the Will. The is necessary, I think. Anyways, I am he, they. I don't typically exist, especially on social media. However, @_rolling nomads are the people who manifest me into existence every Sunday, usually. Nothing else really to promote beyond that.
Beautiful. And I am personally a big fan of it, and I will do my best to refer to you as the Will. It's like A Tribe Called Quest. You have to say the whole thing. That's fine. I can get behind that. Next up, Sasha, please give us your pertinent details.
Hey, I'm Sasha, she, they. I am at Hey I'm Spidey on Twitter and pretty much nowhere else. I'm otherwise a ghost, so enjoy my Final Fantasy XIV retweets. Yay!
Beautiful. And next up, Kevin, please give us your pertinence.
Hi, Kevin Zarnicki, he, him, his, pretty sis. Aside from that, you can now find me on Twitter at Necromancy101, formerly of Facebook, no longer. I got hacked. So yeah, terms of promotion.
I'm sorry about your Facebook's loss, by the way. My condolences. But continue.
I tied way too much stuff into it, and that's my fault. And I won't make that mistake again. That's my world of darkness. I write a lot of Shadowrun stuff, and occasionally I write Chronicles stuff. So please support game devs. We're working hard for you.
Indeed. And speaking of working hard, our tech person and as well co-star of the show, Jim, please give us pertinence.
I am James. I normally go by Jim, pronouns they, he. I don't really exist in the social media sphere yet. Eventually, maybe. Still kind of working on that one. And yeah, I'm just here for a good time. I've been running tech for streams for a little while, and I'm here anyway. I might as well play in it and have some trauma.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to traumatizing you. And last but most certainly not least, new to the channel, Mint, please, your pertinent details.
Oh, where do I even start? Hi, everyone. I'm Mint. Pronouns, any of them, he, she, they, they change around like the breeze in Louisiana during a hurricane. So you can use any of them. You're fine. You can find me on Twitter. It's Minty Bitch all the time. You can also find me here. It's just Minty Bo. You can see me usually popping around with some actual plays. Had a few. I actually was here with Onyx Path for their Deviant little one shot they had a couple months ago. It was a great time, and I'm super happy and excited to be back to play some more.
Well, we're happy to have you back. And I misspoke. Yeah, I've forgotten. You'd been on the channel before. This is my first time having the honor and pleasure of being your storyteller. So thank you for being here.
I can live up to the hype.
I appreciate your presence. And so we're going to dive in with our, is there something I missed? Anything I missed? Everybody? All right, beautiful.
I'm the newbie, I guess.
Excellent. What was that?
I said I was the newbie.
Oh, I normally am not quite so spacey, but it's been a long day. So that's not true. I'm spacey all the time. You'll get used to it, I promise. So we're diving right into character creation. This is the Contagion Chronicle. So our core is the Chronicles of Darkness. Do each of you have a Chronicles of Darkness book handy? It should have been sent ahead of time. If not, please wave your hands in terrible fright. Okay, it looks like everyone has one. This allows for generation of normal, average, everyday mortal folk. My loose recommendation, although the Contagion Chronicle does allow for all manner of supernatural crossover, it is my loose recommendation that we all begin play as human. Having said that, if you have another concept you'd like to bring to the table, I am all ears. Did anyone have their heart set on like playing a deviant or a Promethean or something along those lines? No, nothing like that. Beautiful.
I mean, my original, all my experience is playing Kindred, but playing Immortals like playing a Kindred, but easier. So
that's fair enough. All right. So you should each also have an editable character sheet. Feel free to go ahead and bring that up. Or if you have one that's a manual handwriting, that's fine too. And
I actually don't have a character sheet. That's what I'm looking for. And
well, if anyone is shy a editable character sheet, I do believe I have one handy.
I could use one.
A moment and a half to dig one up.
Same here.
Please, thank you.
And whilst I'm digging that up, allow me to paint a little picture of the setting. Lyndon Station is kind of a small town, about 45 miles to the north of Wisconsin Dells. Something of a tourist trap in Wisconsin. If you're not familiar, it's got the world's largest water park. It has a population of about 2,000 throughout most of the year, except during the summer months when it swells closer to around 50,000 in Wisconsin Dells. Now, Lyndon Station is like 14, 15 miles north there. Little small town, truck stop. Used to have a train switching station there many years ago. It's no longer functional. And a couple of bars. Kind of a quiet, sleepy little town that no one ever visits for any length of time. And that's where we're going to hang our tail. So things to keep in mind as you're building your character are what might bring you to this area, whether you're from here or not. It could be anything from your camping to your from here to your car breaks down at an inopportune spot. But have that kind of cooking around in the back of your mind as to what might have brought you to the city of Lyndon Station.
My great aunt Madeline lives here, and I'm visiting her. Off the top of my head.
That's fair enough. I'm just looking for editable sheets for you real quick.
Now, in terms of aesthetic, we're going for normal people. We don't want a team of like paranormal hunters and ex-hitmen, right?
Well, here's a question for you then. Do you want to be playing people who are average Joes and Janes and Jeans, or are you wanting to play cream of the crop special folks? And you can have a mixture of both as well.
How unprepared do we want to feel for this? That's the question. How unprepared do we want to feel?
As it is the spooky month, I am very much in the camp of as unprepared as possible.
Yeah, I'm up
That's
for that.
that's good justification for complete unpreparedness.
So
if we're allowed to crack open Hurt Locker, like, is psychic stuff okay? Like, not full like weapons grade pyrokinetics, but like, a psychic fire or something.
I have no objection to that. Anything out of, what is it, Second Sight? Is it in Hurt Locker in second edition?
Hurt Locker is the new one.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no objection to, if you want to have a cool psychic power, that's fine by me. The other thing I would like to, I guess, mention real quick is, and we're not quite to aspirations yet, but I would like you all, since you're playing vaguely normal humans, especially anyone who's not taking any sort of psychic powers or any sort of anything supernatural at all, the more mundane, the better. I would like you to think about considering taking a single dark aspiration when we reach that stage. I will allow that for characters in this game. Dark aspirations would be anything that's immoral, selfish, dark. Certainly not necessary, but if you want to flesh out your dark side and hand me some tools that I might be able to twist toward your character, that is an option that is on the table for you. Make sense?
Oh yeah.
I like playing Wraith, so I'm gonna go all in on that. I'm
Beautiful.
Oh boy.
I like playing. I'm going to take that opportunity. That's
Excellent.
I love that.
So since we're, with the possible exception of dipping into Hurt Locker for a little bit of psionics, since we're focusing mainly on humans, you can start things off by purchasing your attributes. The attributes in Chronicles of Darkness describe your character's sort of basic potential, base capabilities. They are broken down into 3 arenas, which are physical, social, and mental, and 3 approaches, which are power, finesse, and resistance. You may take the arena that you feel is most important to your character, your primary arena, and you may spend 5 points among the dots in there. That does not count the free filled in dots on your sheet. Was everybody able to get the sheet from the link I sent through the chat?
I got the
Got it.
link. Where am I looking for the
Should
sheet?
be looking for just a Chronicle of Darkness 2-page sheet, probably.
Gotcha.
The 2015 one.
Yes,
It's Mr. Gone. There's nothing but options.
that's true. Yeah, the 1-page interaction sheet will probably get you there.
Okay. Cool.
So you'll choose whichever is primary to you out of physical, social, and mental, and you'll spend 5 points in there. You'll spend 4 in the secondary and 3 in the tertiary. Does anyone have any questions about what those attributes mean or how they apply?
Should we explain for our viewers?
I certainly can. Just give a brief rundown. The attributes and skills in this game are pretty good about doing what they sound like what they do. In mental attributes, you have intelligence, which is your raw processing capability. Wits, which is how fast your mind works, and resolve, which is your mental tenacity. For physical attributes, you have strength, which is the physical force you can exert, dexterity, which is how lithe and limber you are, and stamina, which is your physical resilience. And then socially, you have presence, which is how strong your personality is, manipulation, which is how good you are at getting what you want from others, and then composure, which is your ability to keep your shit together, or at least appear as though you are keeping your shit together. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Resolve is can keep going. Composure is don't let him see you sweat. And stamina is sweat harder, longer.
Yes, exactly.
Did we want to try to balance this out and talk about what we're all choosing, or are we just going to go in blind?
I mean, I'm as far as I'm concerned, you're all welcome to discuss if you want to whatever degree you wish to with one another, how much you want to coordinate your choices. I'm happy to listen to once you've all spent, have you each run down with what you've purchased. That's fine by me. But if you want to coordinate with one another about making sure that all your bases are covered, that's acceptable as well.
That's good. I'm going in with 0 idea.
So I'm not gonna lie. I may have done the sheet earlier today just to kind of get a flesh idea. But
That's
I guess
okay.
I guess one good question is like, does anyone here like have a specific like I want my character to be mostly a physical based person, mostly a social based person, or mostly a mental based person?
I'm inclined for mostly mental.
I'm probably gonna go pretty heavy social. You may have noticed I'm a talker. I stay honest in real life by getting all my impulse to lie out in a character.
Clever.
That's a good way to do it.
So we have at least one person who's mental focused, one person who's social focused. Where were you thinking of putting your focus, Mint?
I was actually, and you can ask Jim for this. This is gonna be the first time where I'm doing this, where most of my stuff is going to be physical. Me and Joe have played together, and I have never made a pure physical. Well, no, I lie, but technically she could have done it. Anyway, point being, this is the first only physical focus character. Specifics, it would be pretty much both physical skills and the physical attributes get the bulk of everything. Athletics, some broad spectrum fighting skills on physical. And if anyone wants to like take up that fighter spot, I'm more than happy to like ease back on that. But that's just kind of where I was going with the idea. What do y'all think so far?
I mean, it's always nice to have someone who's good in a fight. This is World of Darkness, after all.
This is Chronicles of Darkness. This has come up in the chat. I'm gonna just strap in for a second.
I almost said
how this. I have to limber up first. Hold on. Okay, so what happened was in 2004 they ended the original World of Darkness, and then they created a new World of Darkness. And then at one point, between owners, they decided to bring back the original World of Darkness through 20th anniversary editions and change the name of the new World of Darkness to Chronicles of Darkness. So Chronicles of Darkness is a very different game that shares very little DNA with World of Darkness. I hope that 4-cent explanation has cleared it up for the people that were asking in chat. And for everyone who habitually refers to it as the World of Darkness, myself included, it is the Chronicles.
There's a thematic similarity, and they share some terminology, but in terms of play, they scratch different itches.
They scratch very different itches. And I personally think if you like one, you really should give the other one a shot. That's my humble 2 cents, but I know there are people who have, thoughts and feelings.
World of Darkness has an amazing meta plot, really great setting building, and Chronicles is about a sandbox where you can really make your own cool esoteric stuff and mix it up.
Exactly that.
They're both great for somewhat different reasons.
I hope that is sufficient of an explanation to the people that were asking in chat, but also to the assembled, of the differences between the two. So we have at least one person who is social, mental, and physical focused. Jim, had you given any thoughts as to what direction you wanted to go with your character?
For stats and skills and stuff, I was thinking about making him a little bit of a jack of all trades sort of character, one who's not especially good at any one thing, but can definitely help out with a lot of different things.
So it's more of a generalist.
Yeah. Unlike poor Joel in Aberrant, where I had 1,000,000 dots in the things I was good at, but then I needed to pass one stamina check.
Just one time. All it takes is one time, and there goes your side. All right, so
you're covered in boils.
Then you're covered in boils. All right, so yeah, we've got a generalist of physical, social, and mental focus. Any thoughts, Sasha, on where you'd like to spend those traits, I guess?
Not particularly. I kind of wanted to keep it loosey-goosey and see what everyone else was making and kind of fill any gaps that might pop up. But I'll be honest, playing a social character or I think social might be drawing me the most.
Okay, excellent.
I'm thinking I'm going to play something of like a liar type. So if you want to play like a diplomacy type, we could probably get some
kind of balance that out.
If you're up for that,
that might be a good idea.
Cool. Excellent.
That's a dangerous duo.
So go ahead and spend up those points, and once your attribute points are spent, you can start moving into skills. Skills also are broken up with under mental, physical, and social, and are also prioritized. I believe at the bottom of your sheet, it does list the numbers, but in case you're missing them, your skills will be 11 in your primary, 7 in your secondary, and 4 in your tertiary. Each skill category has, 10, I believe, in Chronicles underneath it, of basic skills that fall within that purview. So for example, if you're going to strike somebody with a handheld weapon, you would rely on the physical weaponry skill. If you were trying to figure out the truth behind some riddle, for example, you might roll, medicine and occult, or the mental occult, or a mental investigation, perhaps, maybe academics. Social, if you're trying to, say, ward away an angry animal, you would make an animal ken roll. Whereas if you're trying to talk your way past a doorman at a nightclub, that would be a persuasion roll. Make sense? And if there's any skills that you have any questions about what they are, feel free to ask. Did anyone have any particular leanings or history? This is a place where your character's history or backstory might come into play.
Who takes shape?
Right. What have you learned, and where did you learn it? And why did you learn it? If your character, this is where I really want you to start thinking about questions like, if I learned weaponry, what was the context of that? Was that because I had an older cousin who liked playing with knives, and so I learned how to use them a little bit? Or was that because, I lived in a place where that skill was necessary to my survival? Those are two different approaches to taking that same trait, and probably two different levels of that trait, and two different attitudes around what that trait governs. Same thing goes for a character might have some academics because their parents who they resented forced them to go into college. And as much as they would like to have spent that mental acumen elsewhere, they will never be able to not recite the Iliad from memory. For example.
Wasn't there like a Ventru Anarch based on that whole thing? Like you were groomed to be perfect, and then you said, "Screw you, vampire dad."
I mean, aside from Angel, none spring to mind, but that's literally the plot of Angel.
Fair enough. I got a concept, but I'll just get in line. Whoever's ready.
Go ahead.
Yeah, by all means.
Okay. So right now I'm thinking this is a dude who probably was just sort of settling into a college lifestyle, didn't even know what he wanted to take, kind of got swept up in a rough crowd before he started noticing like weird things happening around him. This is a guy who's brushed up against the supernatural and absolutely does not understand what's happening, or that he's even kind of a part of it.
Okay, excellent. I love this. I love this for you. I love this for me. Continue.
Excellent. So he's this sort of led him to kind of start like researching into it, because you see enough weird phenomena, you start looking for weird answers. Like, when sense fails, you go to the senseless. Not to mock any occult stuff. I make some of my money there too in real life. But so I got stories, Travis. I got stories. So this dude basically ran afoul of some of the wrong people. He was already running with a bit of a rough crowd. Got to the point where he had to leave Chicago, and has been kind of on the road since, just picking up odd jobs. He's got a car. He's been doing a little bit of courier work. if you can move it from point A to point B and it pays for the gas in a hotel room, super. But so yeah, he's got to use D&D terminology, he's got a little bit of rogue going on. So there's
Beautiful.
some streetwise, plenty of lying. Right now I've got it. Do you want a dot rundown?
If you've got them broken out, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I got, let's see, priority. I've got social top, mental second, physical last. Starting at the top on the sheet, 2 in academics for college, 1 for computer, 1 for crafts, 1 for investigation, 2 for occult. Just, been reading stuff. And we all know that mortal ranks of occult are basically a fart in the wind and 1 history channel. For physical, I got 1 for brawl, 1 for drive, 1 for stealth, and 1 for survival. Really just exposure education.
Okay.
Social, we got 2 for empathy, 1 for expression, 1 for intimidation, 1 for persuasion, 1 for socialize, 2 streetwise, and 3 subterfuge.
Beautiful. So very good liar and knows their way around the underworld a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Definitely could spot the drug dealer and find the rave. So
nice.
Yeah.
Just for my edification, how careful is your character about about what cargo they accept?
About what? Oh, cargo.
About what cargo they accept?
At this point, desperation has driven to the point where if it's a matter of carrying this as suicide, no. But if it's plenty illegal, yeah, sure. Like, you want me to move a body? Go yourself. You want me to move a pound of cocaine? Yeah. You want me to move a pound of cocaine or this briefcase with a bunch of papers I'm not supposed to read? No, that's none of my fucking business. Yeah, just pay me.
Beautiful.
So
Duly
there's
noted.
a moral limit, just not much of one.
Duly noted. Fun fact: the Interstate 90 to 94 in between Chicago and Madison is affectionately known as the heroin highway around here, which is right on the same road that you would be going on to come to lovely Lyndon Station. So that works out beautifully.
I live in Chicago even now. I grew up here. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have family up in Wisconsin, so like we're very much on the same page here.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're probably running that stretch of road and just staying out of the Windy City proper if you've got some heat on you down there.
Yeah, probably sticking to like the worst part of the suburbs. And it's Chronicles of Darkness, so I assume everything's the worst part of everything.
Right. So you're stopping in Rockford to pick up deliveries.
Hey,
that's about right.
Hometown shout out.
Behind the Target in Crystal Lake.
Right, exactly. Cool. I love it. I dig it. Did anyone else have a chance to break out their skills and sort of look at how they wanted to see those come into place? I know, Mint, you said you had kind of done a preliminary breakdown coming in. Have you made some shifts, or is everything still kind of looking?
I've made some tiny dot shifts. So I need you to bear with me on this. I'm going to read the 4 words that I have for concept, and I will go into it, but this should kind of just give you kind of where we're going for. A Thembo pastel goth artist. I know I said artist. I also know I said physical primary focus. Those are both intentional. For the dots breakdown, the majority went into physical. We have, I'll give the exacts. We got 3 for athletics and brawl, 2 for weaponry, and 1 for drive, firearms, and stealth. For the next one, it's social, 1 in empathy and intimidation, 2 in persuasion, and 3 in expression. And this poor, sweet, not summer child, but close to summer child, has 4 dots for mental, 1 of them is medicine, and 3 are in crafts. And my kind of understanding is this isn't a sheltered kid. This is a person that's, fuck you, mom and dad, I'm going to art school. And then instead of doing like Van Gogh forever, they're like, hey, I want to do like edgy art. And they had to learn all that physical stuff of, oh, hey, I can do art, but if I'm going to hang around this scene, I need to learn to not get my ass beat. And it's pretty much of that of I'm soft and ooh, I do art. And it's like, also, if you threaten me, I'm going to turn you into a bloody meat pile. Go to aisle 3 for cleanup.
Love it. I think it's a beautiful combo.
I'm in love. I'm in love.
And
Tell me you're
yes,
a Deva
absolutely.
playing a Deva.
What? Sorry, the brain cell did not do a corner bound, so I didn't get to perceive that. What was it?
From Requiem, the Deva are basically like fast, hard-hitting Toreador. I'm like, tell me you're a Deva without playing a Deva.
I haven't had the chance to play Requiem yet, but I will say yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a Deva embrace waiting to happen. You never know. It's the Contagion Chronicle. Anything could happen. Whilst we've got that down, Jim, have you come up with concept stuff, or are you still working on skills?
Just a little bit. And I think they'll get along with two people pretty well because they're kind of edgy and also totally a criminal.
We all have stuff to talk about.
Oh, definitely. Except my crimes are worse than yours. They are introduced into the darkness, but not in like a supernatural way. They are the kid of like a super controlling military dad family. So as soon as they got the tiniest bit of freedom, they just went crazy with it.
All right.
Ended up hanging out with the wrong crowds and getting involved in various gang activities that I'm not going to go into too much detail for. And has, landed themselves in juvie, did a stint in juvie, got out, tried to make a life, ended up back in the same crowd as what sadly tends to happen with the American prison system. And ended up in jail for, ironically, a very minor charge of drug possession, but it could have been a lot worse. They took the plea deal. They are not a very social person, but they have a little bit of smarts. They went to school. Most of their stuff, most of their knowledges and their physical traits kind of come from that military parent background where they try and take you camping to teach you all the stuff that they learned in the military, and you as a kid kind of half pay attention to it, but you're also kind of like, I just want to be home playing video games with my friends.
Sure.
So yeah, it's gonna be pretty entertaining when we get into the fun parts.
I look forward to it. Will, did you have the concept? Have you got your skills?
Yeah. I think I've got a good one. So black hat turned white hat turned black hat. So went to school, did not do anything in school. Got caught hacking some government system. Pretty much immediately broke under the pressure, and got a job, and they gave me a job because the government does that. Seriously, if you hack into their systems, they will give you a job where you just do that all day. And that explains my physical, because started working for one of the acronyms. I don't think it's really necessary which one, NSA, FBI, one of those ones.
One in the soup, yeah.
Yeah, someone in a suit. So I've got some, basic survival training from them. A dot of athletics because they've mandated that I do something physical. Pretty good at driving though. Helped with the chase that ended up happening. But after a while, my contract was up, and I wasn't necessarily for sticking around with the suits because F the man. And now back to being a black hat. If they find me again, I will break. I will just be like, can
just
I go
fold
back
like
to
a
my
cheap
old,
suit.
can I go back to my old job, please? But haven't been messing with the government since then. Just little things. Just the occasional identity theft to get money, but nothing too crazy. Just I got 4 dots in computers and 3 dots in investigation. So figuring out people's identity is not difficult. If you know anything
Excellent.
about the American Social Security system, it is not secure.
Right. No, absolutely. And I love the concepts, and I'm already spinning with ideas. And then, so Sasha, has anything congealed in the skills of your character that you wanted to call attention to or discuss?
I'm still picking skills out right now. I'm going through all of these and kind of feeling them out, but right now, just looking from where the party's at right now, I think we're going to need a good lawyer. And I think that's going to be where I come in.
I love it. I love it. Good thinking.
I think I'm going to be a single female lawyer. Futurama. I think she's just constantly having her worst day possible. Just in this small town, public defendering it, trying to get anything going. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Better Call Saul lately, and that's kind of influencing me too.
I was gonna say, you
That's
probably know all of us because of that.
That's totally fine and fair.
You're probably the focal point of how we all know each other.
And I'm thinking just horrible social life in the background, constantly having just a cry fest into a cup of a pint of Ben and Jerry's or something on the couch or something like that. Yeah, just raw Nutella. So
I think now it's safe to say we all kind of have a picture of who these people roughly are, right? So if you can distill that down into a phrase or a couple of words and put that down under your character's concept, okay? It's just a nice touchstone to come back to anytime you might need to. Once that's done, you need to select a couple of anchors. In this case, because you're all mortal, it's going to be your virtue and your vice. Virtue and vice are detailed in the Chronicles of Darkness book on page 27. And you may select any of the suggested example virtues, but you can kind of take any feeling or goal or ideal that we can agree as a group is virtuous as a virtue. Same for vices. You can take any ideal or group that we can all agree functions as a vice and make it a vice. You can take some things that might be perceived under most circumstances as a virtue and turn them into a vice, and vice versa. So if anyone has any questions about that, I am happy to field them. When in doubt, the 7 deadlies and the 7 holies always work.
Fair.
And if anybody needs me to run those down, I'm an atheist who likes reading, so I can happily do that for you. Let's see. 2 seconds here while I'm looking this up. Oh, okay.
What page did you say?
27.
Oh, 27.
Yeah.
27.
And that's in Chronicles, not in the Contagion Chronicle book, by the way. And as you're thinking about those, just keep in mind your virtue is your higher calling, your higher purpose. Acting on virtues are generally difficult, and therefore they are more rewarding when you're able to successfully do so, you can regain willpower effectively through using them. The same goes similar. Same goes for vice. However, vice only grants one, whereas virtue lets you fill your willpower pool and you fulfill it. Make sense? Along with those virtues is where you choose your aspirations. You get 3 of them, which are goals that you wish to achieve. They can be anything. They can be very straightforward and simple if you want them to be. Something that you can guarantee to be done within the span of a session, or you can make them longer term. I recommend having at least a couple that are short term and maybe one that's longer term. And as we discussed earlier, you do have the option of using one of them as a dark aspiration. And whereas the example aspirations in Chronicles of Darkness include things such as find a new job, go on a date with the new guy at work, see a ghost, destroy the beast that killed my lover. Dark aspirations are things like construct a mask of human flesh, seduce someone who's married, make someone cry, start a fire, secretly watch someone in an intimate moment, things like that. So you each may choose 3 aspirations. Any thoughts on aspirations from anyone? Mint, did you get a chance to do aspirations earlier, or has the ground shifted on those?
I did, but then you mentioned the dark one, and I immediately shot to a very interesting concept.
Is it paint a dead body?
No, it's not always the dead bodies, Jim. Not yet. But basically, and it kind of ties into why my character's there. I've named them Silas, so if anyone hears me say that, that's who I'm referring to. And their aspirations were all sweet and all that, you know, advance their art, reconcile with their brother they had an argument with a couple years ago. But if we're doing a dark one,
you don't necessarily have to do a dark one. I'm just letting you know that's an option.
But I want to. I want to. Because if I don't,
you forget who we're dealing with.
This is going to be a soft and snuggly sweet person, and I'm fine with that. But I also need them to have murderous intent for at least one thing or person, and that aspiration is going to be hurt my cheating partner, and hurt as in to whatever extents may come up.
So it might be emotional pain. It might be nailing a part of their anatomy to a chair.
Super glue.
It might be sending them to the hospital. It might be sending them to therapy. It might be both. We'll see what they can get their hands on.
I love it. It's my favorite thing in the universe to see people just jump into the abyss. And how about Kevin? You got any aspirations picked out yet? I believe you're muted. Kevin.
Oh, whoops. Okay. That explains the awkward silences every time I said something. Okay. I've got a short-term aspiration, which is find the next gig. Which is just, put some cash in my pocket, stay alive. I have a long-term aspiration of understand what I am or what's happening to me. And I have a dark aspiration of take by instinct, which is less steal shit and more I have a hunger and it feels good. And a part of me would like to take more. See how much you can take. What happens when you take it all?
So you're a kleptomaniac.
I'm a soul thief.
Ah.
That sounds like the same thing but with extra steps.
So you want to just take and take and take, like at an ephemeral level from someone.
There's a hunger and I don't understand it. And right now, if I let it out, people seem a little tired and that's fine. I feel fine. But what would it be like if I didn't stop?
Excellent. So just let go. Just let go.
Yeah. A small,
That guilt's like a bag of bricks, Kevin. Who you carrying those bricks for anyway? God?
Exactly. I'm building a throne, buddy. But yeah, I figured, what is it? Short-term aspirations have a quick turnaround replacement. Long-term aspirations can have small rewards or large rewards, but you're the one running the game. That's just how I understand it. So a small take might be worth something. A big take could be worth commensurately more, and probably replace it with what have I done or going to do that again.
Nice. I love it.
We will get along fabulously.
I am for it. So then the will, what you got?
Right now, I only have my dark one. Steal the identity of everybody in this town.
Excellent. Okay.
You need new identity. I keep burning them. They keep getting close, and I have to keep burning them. So a town's worth would be nice. All I need is basic hospital info to get most of that.
Excellent.
Beyond that, I'm not sure what exactly he would want.
Well, feel free to sit with it for a moment. Sasha,
Yeah.
do you have any aspirations?
Right now, the only one I have written down is get out of public defending.
You came to the best group for that.
That is.
We can make that happen.
I think
Probably
that is,
not in the way you want.
the hell
Short
that she's
term.
in, and she's kind of looking for any outs.
Short term, I think we can help. Long term, I think you're going to circle right back around to where you
Look.
started.
Look, aspirations are fluid, man.
Liquid-based
Precisely.
diet.
So if you need a moment to work on the other two, that's fine. Jim, you got aspirations?
I have one, and it kind of ties into my vice and virtues.
Okay.
I want them to get revenge on the detective that tricked them into ratting out their friends.
Okay.
So his virtue is loyalty.
Fucker, I don't have friends.
Well, their virtue is loyalty. They are loyal to a fault, and they were tricked into ratting out their friends.
Okay.
So he wants revenge, whether that's destroy a person's life or put them in the hospital, put them in a hole 6 feet in the ground. It doesn't really matter.
So
Take
one
his
way or the
identity.
other, you want to even that score. So that is a
Dark aspiration.
Dark aspiration. Okay. And have you picked your other aspirations yet, or no?
I haven't for sure. I'm kind of floating with the idea of once they get that revenge, they want to try and turn their life around. They want to stop going to jail, but that's kind of the scale that'll tip it. They want that first, but I don't know how that'll go with everything. So
Okay.
I'm still kind of flirting with the idea of a couple of them.
Okay. Who have I not yet asked about aspirations? Have we touched base with everyone's aspirations? Had you finished yours up, Will or Kevin?
No, not yet.
Well, I did.
Oh, go ahead. You told me all three.
Yeah.
It was Sasha that only.
Yeah, it was me.
Sasha only had one. Sorry, I do have a number of players I'm juggling. So
You're
forgive
good.
if
I love how we all came up with the dark aspiration like that.
immediately.
It's the normal ones that we have to
Yeah.
figure out.
Chronicles of what now?
Another thing that you'll want to figure out, and this might help with some of your aspirations as well, is figuring out what your breaking points are. A breaking point, they can be somewhat subjective, and it's going to be a bit of a back and forth, a bit of a negotiation when you approach a breaking point. between yourself and myself as we work what exactly constitutes that particular breaking point for your character. And there's going to be plenty of things that you won't plan for that might also cause breaking points. But these are specific sort of, for lack of a better term, emotional landmines that could create problems for you. And there are a few questions that the Chronicles of Darkness book asks to help you figure out what your breaking points might be. There's a list of 5. If you maybe even just have a piece of scratch paper or a little side note where you can record your answers, you don't need to necessarily even share these with the class, just things to think about. And each one of these can represent a breaking point. What is the worst thing your character has ever done? What is the worst thing your character can imagine themselves doing? What is the worst thing they can imagine someone else doing? What have they forgotten? And what is the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to them?
Damn.
As you're considering the answers to those questions, those would be your breaking points. As you are, if you come into an experience that is similar to that, think of it similar to a psychological trigger. If you come to a situation that's close to your breaking point, you risk losing integrity. Make sense?
Could you run those questions by me one more time?
Absolutely.
They're in the book, right?
They are on page 29 of the Chronicles book. But for your edification, those questions are: what is the worst thing your character has ever done? And I apologize, I misspoke. It's on page 30. What is the worst thing your character can imagine himself doing? What is the worst thing they can imagine someone else doing? What have they forgotten? And what is the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to them? So worst thing they can imagine, worst thing they can imagine someone else doing, worst thing they've actually done, forgotten, and worst thing that ever happened to them. Let's see.
Did we get skill specializations in there?
Not yet, no. You may select them though. If you're at the point where your skills are ready, I believe you begin with
3, I think.
Yes. And specialties are areas of a skill that you specialize in, that you have an advanced knowledge of. Make sense? If you have an applicable specialty, when you roll that skill, you get a +1 modifier, giving you an additional die.
Like, for example, I've got 1 point of drive, but I have inconspicuous as a specialization. So if I'm just trying to drive, hey, calm down. Nope, we're fine. We're just a sedan. There's an extra point.
Exactly.
Right.
We are the opposites again. You drive all inconspicuous, and To put it this way, to kind of describe some of the crimes, I used the character concept descriptor of rum runner.
Okay.
Wait, you guys are putting dots in drive?
That's
a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Or is it?
I
You'll never know.
somehow always end up as the person who can drive things. It doesn't matter what game I'm in. Even in Aberrant, I put stuff in pilot. I was more imagining piloting like drone craft. No, I'm driving the van.
Listen,
That is
everyone
how it goes.
shits on. Go ahead.
No, that's just how it goes.
Everyone shits on the getaway driver until you need a getaway driver.
Right.
That's
That's
just
why
how
I'm
it
always
goes.
a rigger when I play Shadowrun.
Yep. And then suddenly you're playing like Pathfinder D&D. It's like, at last, no driving. Quick, who's got the wagon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always
Don't
end up as
overlook it.
the one person with proficiency in any kind of vehicle is usually me. 'Cause
Some people just have a rigger, like
Mindset, yeah.
just soul. There's nothing you can do about it. You're just born to rig.
Well, none of us know how to sail. Slowly looks over at Jane. Damn it.
Once that is complete and you've assigned your specialties accordingly, of which you get 3, you may choose your merits. Merits begin in the Chronicles of Darkness book on page 43. And you receive a grand total of 7 points, I believe, in merits. Yes. So, any chance that we have settled on our aspirations, Mint?
Yep.
Did you have any left to figure out?
I've got them figured out. I've got the 3. I've got one long term and short term, and then the dark one I think can be either or depending on how things go. It's like I can share them right now just to let the class know. The long term, advance my art to the highest. Short term is reconcile with my brother. And the dark one is hurt my cheating partner, as I mentioned. And as long as they're hurt in some way, I consider that a win.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much.
Audience, this is known as giving your ST or your GM all the knives that they're going to stab you with like Caesar later. And you can't do a thing about it because you asked for it.
If you
I always thought it was give them all the crayons. They'll paint the prettiest picture for your game.
That's one way of looking at it, yes. And to think I would do something so pedestrian as stab with a knife.
We're both right.
Will, had you settled on the final aspiration?
Yeah, so he kind of wants to go back into white hatting because at this point he might be in over his head and he might realize that. And so it's get back into white hatting, but he doesn't expect to do that. But his dark aspiration is probably going to end him up there if he fulfills it.
That's fair.
Because stealing that many identities, you're going to get noticed. And that's...
You will get caught.
He had a good life. He let it slip out of his hands. And he's kind of wanting to go back, but at the same time, identity theft's fine. Listen, they're not using it.
So I'm getting the impression that this is the type of person who needs to paint themselves into a corner in order to make a change in their life.
More or less.
I love that about them.
More
I really
or less.
do.
They absolutely.
One of my favorite flaws in a human being. As one who has suffered it many times in my own life. And had you settled on your virtue and vice?
Yeah. Very, very ambitious individual. Stealing all these people's identities, that sort of stuff. He can be very ambitious, but he's also greedy as heck. That's why he chose something that makes money.
I love it. I think that is an accurate and apt selection. So yeah, I will release you to shop for merits. forgive me because we do have a big party, so I might wind up asking people the same thing twice. If you've already answered me, tell me. James, did we get your virtue vice?
Went over my virtue a little bit while I was doing aspirations. Vice is hateful. They're a very angry person, and if you slight them, they will hate you for eternity.
I love it.
Scorpio.
Like it. So you're loyal to a fault. If you betray that loyalty, we should
You
have
will
did that.
never earn their trust again, ever.
Hold a
You
grudge.
can lay down your life for them, and they will still curse you at your funeral.
Hold a grudge forever. I love it. Sasha, had you settled on virtue vice?
I was still looking at my aspirations, and I think I came up with two more. The first one would be my darker aspiration would be get what I'm owed. I think at some point during her life, I think probably during college, she had a very close relationship with a roommate or something. Like they were going to go the whole way. We were going to beat the system, and then that fell the fuck apart. And when that person left her, it kind of spawned a hole in her that, like, she was raised to go into law. Her family's a law family. Comes from a long line of lawyers. So at some point, I think she starts to feel wronged by the amount of work and energy that she has put into her craft and has seen no real fruit from it. She's still stuck public defendering. So at this point, she's just like, you know what? I'll do a little crime. Fuck it.
I love it.
It's really
Just
I'll take a bribe. Fuck it.
everybody's doing it. You know, the
Cool
other
kids are doing
guys-
crime.
I have
You know,
somehow ended up with an opposite to every person's character in
She
some way,
is
shape, or form.
so out of her depth in comparison to some of the other tricky people in this call right now.
You're
Look on the-
not
look on the
going to take a
views.
taste. The other cops don't trust you, and your guy doesn't take a taste.
Whatever you do, don't eat the donuts.
That's fair. Oh my goodness. I love everywhere where this is going. This is perfect. Thank you all so much.
The next aspiration I had was find someone to fill that hole. So
Okay.
I think on some level she's looking to make some kind of connection. When her old partner left her, that left she is looking for someone, really anyone, to make that connection with, and is a little more picky than she is. Like, I want to find someone to fill that hole, but it needs to be the right person, you know?
Right. So might be prone to kind of prematurely pushing away people that don't fit that mold, and also maybe even like over attaching to someone that they might perceive as fitting that mold. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, oh, I have this idea of who you are, and it precisely fits. Never mind that I'm starting to see evidence the contrary.
Right. Exactly. I love it. So you at this point, you should all be able to shop those merits. Did you all get the page number for merits from me?
Yes.
I'll just type it in there one more time. I'm going to type it in the chat so it doesn't get lost.
Is it bad, Sasha, when I was listening to your aspirations? My brain was thinking of the Mel Brooks musical, The Producers. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Trying to make a play so bad that it goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
is like their game. It's funny. You should definitely check it out.
I need to. That's on the watch list.
It is one of Mel Brooks' funniest, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, it's got Nathan Lane and who's the other actor?
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
The original is
Darryl.
the original cast was Gene Wilder and
Zero Mostel.
Was it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Is esoteric trivia still a merit? I should just take that on principle.
There you go.
I decided to lead into the driver thing and took both crack driver and stunt driver.
Nice.
So if we need someone to drive stuff and drive it quickly.
Does that apply to like any wheeled vehicle?
Let me double check. I think it's a little bit more specific, but
We're about to ripping through here on HTVs. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
I will be.
Once
you
again,
guys will be tumbling off.
I would like to once again remind you this game takes place in South Central Wisconsin, so ATVs is not out of the question, nor is a chase scene involving farm equipment. I'm just saying.
Hey, y'all laugh, but them tractors go fast when you need them to.
Travis, was that you that night? 4th of July, 2 years ago. You son of a bitch.
Fifth. I take the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
I respect your discretion.
So yeah.
So it does not specify that it is specific to vehicles or to a specific type of vehicle. It just says wheeled vehicles. So
great. Okay, so and I'll make sure if you're on anything with tracks that it doesn't.
Put me on a snowmobile and I'm not as good, but again, we're in Wisconsin. It can happen.
It could happen.
High speed Zamboni chase.
It has wheels. It has wheels.
It does have wheels.
And just for the record, we will be setting this around this time of year, so the weather will be kind of an autumn kind of weather.
We have a time frame set, like 2020s, 2010s.
Oh, like today.
Oh, today. Gotcha.
Minus
well, I can tell you if it's autumn in the Midwest, this whole thing's going to take about 2 weeks. So yeah.
As does everything in the Midwest in autumn.
Yeah, we don't have autumn. We have spasms of winter.
Yeah, we have baking hot summer, icy cold winter, and then like 4 transition days a year.
And the all year round season of construction.
Right.
Yes,
that's true.
That's I will say though, we earn those transitional states. They're the prettiest.
We really do have very pretty weather 8 days a year.
Yeah, it's almost worth it.
Almost.
I do have a quick
like
question.
The 4 days a year.
I have a quick kind of like that. I have a quick answer. What's up?
So I mean, obviously, there's a lot of merits to choose from.
There
are there any that like? I mean, not to game the system here, but are there any that just aren't going to come up? Like, are we using doors in social situations? Are we using like Clue? Are we using the Clue mini game?
I don't think we're going to mess with doors in social situations, to be honest with you, because that seems like a level of complexity that I don't expect we're going to want to fiddle with.
It's a really cool system that I'd love to see implemented into a video game, but I've never been at the table.
Yeah, it's neat for generating a specific type of experience, but I don't think any of our interactions will. I'll put it to you this way: it's not going to come up frequently enough that I would recommend spending merit dots on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would recommend spending merit dots entirely on like just things. If you're running out of ideas or if you're getting analysis paralysis, look for something that adds to your character as a person. I am going to be much more interested over the span of the next several weeks in who that person is, necessarily in what neat things they can do. So if you find a trait that is defining of who you are and gives you neat stuff, cool. But if you find a trait that like, this is a very definitive trait, but it's not going to do me any good in the system, take it anyway, because it might come in handy to you down the road. And while you're shopping for merits, if I'm not being too distracting by doing so, I was going to paint a little bit of picture about kind of the state of the situation as you arrive there. But if you have questions, by all means.
I have one more question, and this is only
Sure.
because different tables have different feelings about this. Are you against the common sense merit? Some people hate it. Some people live by it.
No, I have no objection to it.
Cool.
I as a storyteller will generally I tend to lean into the "Are you sure you want to do that?" anyway for folks. So
Cool.
my biggest complaint about common sense is I don't always remember when someone has it.
That's just real life. Like,
Right.
Common sense ain't so common.
It's three dots to buy common sense, and nothing's ever been truer of a game that reflects this world.
It's true. It's very true. So I'm seeing a couple things have come up here in terms of we have two characters who have, well, in a sense, we have three characters who are dealing with some sort of a failed relationship. If we stretch the definition, we have four characters who are dealing with some sort of a failed relationship. Is that fair to say? Because we've got Kevin's character is dealing with the failed relationship with their former allies in the city of Chicago. We've got Sasha's character is dealing with a failed relationship with a business partner. We've got Mint dealing with a failed relationship with a romantic partner. And we have Will dealing with a failed relationship with a former employer.
Yeah, more or less.
Is that fair to say? Is there anyone in Jim's character's life that would constitute a failed relationship?
His dad.
His dad, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
His family life, like, if he were a little bit less empathetic, he would have gone very easily down serial killer. That's the kind of family life I'm picturing. Like John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, like that kind of, my family was absolutely horrible.
Okay.
So
Cool.
very bad family.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. I love dysfunction. So, having said that, as we're buttoning up these merits and looking at a couple things, once we get through merits, a lot of the character creation becomes math. So I do want to, if it's not too distracting, take the opportunity to discuss a few things about plot elements, theme, mood, and safety tools. Does that sound workable for everyone? Beginning with safety tools, I generally rely on the X card as needed. So at any time, for any reason, you can X out of a piece of content. You can either type X in the Zoom chat, make an X with your hands, or say X. Full disclosure, I am least likely to see it in the Zoom chat, but I understand if somebody wants to be able to X anonymously, that's there. Just please be aware I'm not looking over there as frequently as I am anywhere else. The point of all this is that we get together and have fun. And if we don't have safe, if everybody's not feeling safe, we can't have fun. So you all have that point. The only thing that I would ever question if an X card is played is if I am unclear as to what the content was that caused it, I would ask for a clarification of what needs to be removed. That's it. And I can't imagine an X card being played and me not knowing exactly why it got played, but just saying that now so it doesn't come as a surprise later if I'm confused or miss something. Other than that, I rely on yes go and no go. So I tend to ask everyone at the beginning of the story to list any yes goes they have, things they definitely want to see in the game, and any no goes they have, things they definitely do not want to see in the game. My standard yes go is gore. Particularly, I am a fan of high blood pressure displays of gore. Wounds tend to spray.
Kurosawa Tarantino.
Right. Everything is very like slow and deliberate and almost Kubrick or Lynchian right up until the gore starts flying, and then it's just Sam Raimi and pre-Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson. That's
Dead Alive reference.
I'm talking like Meet the Feebles. I'm talking deranged
Nice.
Muppets just come out and attack everyone. Yeah. So gore is my yes go. SA is my no go. I see no reason to ever include it as at a table. So there you have it. Doesn't need any discussion more than that. Those tend to be, and I've also tend to notice that most of the time on this channel, no harm to domesticated animals becomes a no-go. So I've pretty much started just using it in my games because there's almost always someone who brings it up. Yes.
Can I request the same across the board with kids?
Oh, with so no harm to children.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Can we? So, do you want a no harm depicted or a no harm? Do you want an off screen peril if that happens?
If it can be none at all, that's the fabulous. But
Beautiful. Okay, no, that's fine.
If they're below high school age, that's not fair. If they're in high school, well, I was in high school and I was an idiot. It's amazing I'm alive. That's on me.
Fair enough. So what we're looking at is no on screen or off screen. We're keeping all of the deaths. Anybody that could come watch this movie in a theater.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. 17 or up. 17 and up.
If they, yeah.
All right. That works for me. I just, again, only asking for clarification so that I don't step in it by having something happen off camera and it still is a trigger or an overstep.
Mightily appreciated.
So we've got no-goes as harm to children, domesticated animals. Mint, do you have any no-goes or yes-goes to add?
I mean, my yes goes are anything involving body horror or any kind of classic horror like that. Any no goes? I think most of everything that's already been mentioned is my no goes. I don't have any lines. I don't really have any veils that I think in this kind of setting would come up. As always, I'll be like communicating if something does, but for right now, nothing else on the table that I need to make a mention of.
Beautiful. Any yes goes, no goes, Jim?
As we're in that time of year, I would like to see some horrific scenes involving tractor equipment.
Horror with farm equipment can do.
Yes. That is one of those things I always, even if it's like really well done and super graphic, I always get a little bit of chuckle out of it because it's just kind of funny. At least to me it is.
Now I gotta go when we're done here. I'm gonna have to watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yes.
He's in the woodshed.
As far as no goes, you've pretty much hit everything. I doubt it would come up, but the only thing that wouldn't is like any sort of romantic stuff, just kind of fade to black that. Mainly because I don't feel like it really has a place, not so much that I don't want to stand for it.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
It makes it awkward.
Fade to ocean waves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The slow
white,
pan.
hopefully.
Slow pan over to the fireplace. Safe to say, fade to black on romantic interludes.
Yeah. Don't need to go into description for that.
Right.
And then we did it.
And then many cheeks were clapped and we moved along. All right.
It is done.
Sasha, yes, goes, no goes.
Everyone said mine. Mint kind of nailed it on the head, honestly. Double down on body horror, please. Also, psych horror. I'm cool with psych horror, so add that as a yes go for me. But otherwise, all my stuff's been said by all the other fabulous people here.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and share those in the chat to make sure that I don't miss any. Will, what you got?
Oh, I don't have any no-goes at all. I'm really good at disassociating. As for yes goes, everything that we have covered, all of it, please. it's the spooky season. I want to be spooked.
I will endeavor to be as spooky as I possibly can. So we've got our yes goes and no goes. I'm going to throw those in the chat. I didn't miss anyone, correct? Everyone has
If I could
heard?
If I could throw a weird yes go,
Yeah.
I'm
The weirder the better.
I'm weirdly okay with being gaslit in Chronicles because it helps me with my gaslighting in real life. It's been therapeutic. Like,
Okay.
for real.
So you would like to feel as though your character has been gaslit?
I'm saying I'm okay with it. I'm not saying I necessarily need it. I'll put it this way. The last 2 years of that Requiem game I mentioned has been my character untangling being dominated hardcore for a long time.
Gotcha.
Like that's me dealing with bad past stuff, and I can make hay of that. So that's okay with me.
Cool. Good to know. I will say that in addition to these, the themes and moods that we will be dealing with, the theme of this story is guilt and fear. The guilt and the fear of a certain entity that will become clear throughout the course of the story is bleeding into the region and will have impacts on the narrative.
Like a contagion.
Like a contagion. And the predominant mood that we're aiming for is regret. People coping with roads not taken or the consequences of roads that they did try and wanting to live with those consequences. Let's go ahead and take a $5 real quick for biological and technological needs. When we come back, we will go over any more questions about merits and do any final math that we need to do. And then we should also be thinking about our characters' names. And I think if we have enough time, we'll just cover like how you all got to be here. Does that sound good?
How about me?
All right. Everybody, if you're watching us live, just stick around. We'll be back momentarily. If you have any questions in the chat for us, go ahead and type question in the chat and we'll try to get back to them. And we'll be back in a moment. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've just had our biological and technological break. I want to take a moment to assure everyone that no one is clapping checks in the chat, and thank Risky Reds for the sub. Greatly appreciate it. While we were away, we were all away handling things, so we probably didn't get a whole lot done on our characters. But did anyone get their merits bought?
I did.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, mine are easy. Like I was saying earlier, I got crack driver and stunt driver, because I think it kind of goes along with their character a little bit. They have done some risky transport before, and we're usually the getaway driver for it.
Okay.
And then for my last little bit, I went ahead and picked up eidetic memory because it is my favorite merit in any game because it gives me an excuse to say, hey, I, the player, don't remember this. Can you go over it again?
Sure. As a storyteller, I love it too because it gives me that excuse. Mint, you said you had yours picked out. What you got?
So from top to bottom, I took one off and put it somewhere else, but so I put parkour, the 1 dot and the 2 dot, flow and cat leap.
Nice.
I kind of like to think of it as, oh, hey, yeah, I've climbed up entire billboards to spray paint on them before. It's fun.
I love it.
I put taste because they're very soft and sweet, but they will still read someone to filth if something looks bad. And to do that, they have to make sure they know what they're looking at.
That's fair.
I put tolerance for biology because if anyone has been in an alternative art scene, be it like physical, like paintings, drawings, sculptures, or costuming, drag, or anything like that, you kind of get a tolerance for the fake stuff to a point where the idea of the real stuff doesn't faze you. Add on to that, it being a bit of a rough crowd at times, and the real stuff really doesn't faze you.
Cool.
And because I had the last one, I decided to go for striking looks because Silas is dressed, I wouldn't say to the nines, it's more to like the Greek alphabet kind of bit where it's like, I know this is put together. What am I looking at? It's
nice.
Noticeable more than anything else.
So dressing for attention as opposed to necessarily like a particular fashionable aesthetic.
Oh no, it's an aesthetic. It's not dressing for popular aesthetics. It's dressing for a personal one.
Beautiful. I dig it. So, Will, are you still working on merits?
I've got eidetic memory because I have to learn programming languages and memorize those. Trained observer because during my time as a white hat, I got a bunch of training that I had to go to. And then danger sense because I know when the law is coming in, and I'm going to back away just a little bit so I can get my old job back.
I love it. Solid collection. Kevin, you got your merits?
I certainly do. So I'm doing the psychic vampire thing. So I got 1 dot of that. I can always grow it later. And I've got 2 dots in breath stealer, so I don't have to be touching people to do it. Sometimes it happens, I'm not even thinking about it. And 1 dot of euphoric touch, so they don't know I'm necessarily doing it.
I like it.
So that's, or is it 2 dots? No, I have 2 dots of that. So I also have sensual touch. So sometimes when I do it, people are feeling like drained but happy to be around me. Gives them the swooning condition. I've got good time management, which I figure a delivery guy and former college student would really profit by that. So if we have any long-term projects or whatever, that's going to be good. I took a dot of striking looks. Definitely helps with being a liar. I'm probably, if we do have I don't know if we have discretionary extra points at some point, but they'd all get dumped in merits anyway. So, but that's around 7, and I'm happy to.
Sounds good. I think it's a good start. And Sasha, have you settled on merits?
I'm still picking mine out. Skip me for now. Go to Jim.
No worries. And we already got Jim's. So now we're going to go to the hardest part. Well, I'll buy you one more respite. We're going to go to one more easy part of your character sheet. You will now determine all of your derived attributes. So Your size is 5. Your
It's
health
math time.
equals your stamina plus your size. Your willpower equals your resolve plus composure. Your defense is the lowest of your dexterity or your wits plus your athletics. Your initiative is your dexterity plus composure. And your speed is your strength plus dexterity plus 5. You start with an integrity of 7. However, because we are using the options from Mirror's Gabriel's Horn, including the Dark Aspirations, I'm also going to allow you to sacrifice up to 2 of those integrity points. Each integrity point you sacrifice will give you 5 experience.
Before I do that, what is integrity used for?
Integrity is used for, it's kind of your ability to, your overall general spiritual well-being. As your integrity fails, you start to lose grip with reality and eventually just give way to your inner demons. It's often used, it's replaced by humanity for vampires. It's replaced by wisdom for mages. It's the kind of thing that, it's how well your shit is cumulatively together.
I sort of like sanity.
Sort of.
That's a good way to put it. Thank you.
It's sort of like sanity, but it's without the icky connotations that come along with sanity systems, if that makes sense. Because it's not just trauma, right? Like if you lose someone, let's say if you have an adored grandparent or something, an adored person who dies after a long, full life of an illness you saw coming and you had all the peaceful ability to say goodbye in the world, that doesn't mean you might not suffer an integrity loss when they die, because that's a thing that you're still connected to and you might not be as cool with that as you thought you were. So it's not necessarily just like boo and now your integrity goes down. When you do things that are horrific, your integrity goes down as well. So like if you hit a breaking point, you might lose integrity.
One of the really cool things about the whole Chronicles system is that if you succeed at your test and don't lose a point, that actually means in character you're probably suffering more, because like the less integrity or humanity or whatever you have, you don't care anymore. You've become detached. That part of you died. So like suffering is good because there's still some of you left to suffer.
Right. You haven't lost the bit that cares, effectively. So I know I ran that math down pretty fast. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
It's at the bottom of the sheet too. There's this great little sheet down there.
Excellent. Yes, you should have that reference. And if you are going to sacrifice that integrity, just let me know. But yeah, it'll be 5 experience per integrity you sacrifice. You can take it down as low as 5.
Cool option, but I got to keep my shit together.
I think it makes a little bit of sense for me to start with lower integrity. So I will go ahead and start at 5 and see how broken I can get.
All right. Excellent. Yes.
I kind of want to do it, but I'm not sure I can find an in-character reason for it, because for all of their physical stuff, Silas isn't too far away from being a good noodle. I'm gonna hold off.
Arlo wants to become a good noodle, but keeps ending up finding themselves repeating the same bad mistakes.
They're wanting to climb up the stairs, and we're all watching them slide down the banister.
And I have one more option if you'd like to get another 5 experience points. And that is to begin play with one persistent condition. that persistent condition is amnesia.
Oh,
Doesn't mean you're amnesiac in the sense of I don't know who I am or anything about me. In this particular sense, if you suffer this amnesia persistent condition, your character is missing a portion of their memory. An entire period of her life is just gone. While this can be a lengthy period of time, this typically refers to a single traumatic event or a chain of related events. This was inspired specifically by the story. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Silent Hill 2, but the way James's memory functions in Silent Hill 2 would be a perfect example of this, of starting with this amnesia persistent condition.
I was actually just watching a very good video on Silent Hill 2 to get in the mood.
If there was a persistent condition like enemy or hunted or something like that, I'd go with that because it would fit the concept just beautiful. But yeah, I'll pass on this one.
Excellent.
So if I take this, I don't know why I'm here. Is that more or less what I'm getting?
It could be. It could be that you don't know why you are where you are currently, or it could be that, for example, throughout the course of the story's events, you discover that you inadvertently killed a lover and you had suppressed that memory or something along those lines. It's pretty much here, GM, go ahead and stick it in and break it off with whatever you want to fill in these gaps.
I'll take it, and I'll degrade my integrity by 1 because still doing bad things right now. Wanting to get up that, need to push myself into a corner here, so I'm in the process of doing that. So -1 integrity, and then I'll take the amnesia.
Excellent.
I think that'll be fun.
So like conceit of Dark City too. Like you wake up in a room with a dead person and a knife.
Not again.
Not again.
So for clarification, it's like a repressed memory, not so much that I can't recall my overall backstory.
Correct. If you could certainly play a tabula rasa with this if you wanted to, but that's not what it's designed for. It's designed for something happened to me or I did something that was so terrible that I have now repressed it, and it will come back and bite me in the ass, probably in a spiritual fashion.
No, how can I not say yes to that? How can I not say yes to that?
Right?
Exactly.
We have lots of people who have repressed things in the group.
I don't even care like what the benefits of that are. I'm just taking that because it sounds juicy.
Oh yeah.
What do I get from that?
That gives you under conditions, write down amnesia persistent. And you will gain 5 extra experience to spend on your character. This condition becomes resolved if you regain your memory and learn the truth, typically through investigation. And discovering the truth of a missing memory almost always constitutes a breaking point as well. They're not happy memories that this happens to.
No, I forgot that one time me and my grandparents went to the ice cream parlor. How sad. I need to cry now.
See, I just realized I took eidetic memory, so a hole in my memory probably is very jarring.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Like it's going to be fun for both of us.
Absolutely.
Just wait a minute. I'm missing this exact span of time. What the heck?
I messed with a player earlier today because they decided to erase 15 minutes of a character who has eidetic memory, and the character started freaking out. So it can react in different ways.
It all depends on what that missing content is. So I appreciate your faith in me by taking that and giving me the reins to do something terrible to your character with that missing memory.
Just the knife just a little bit more.
And
he's hurt me.
Yeah. You may spend any additional experience that you've earned through these options by as normal, as detailed in Chronicles of Darkness. Let me just see where advancement is detailed here.
Great XP system in this game too.
Just gotta find it. And while I am digging up experiences,
Page 76. Is that it?
7. Excellent, thank you.
76. Okay.
Let's see. Yep, 76. So, and then your costs are on 77. So, does anyone have their characters' names picked out?
Yeah, I came up with one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you got?
I'm going with Arlo Keen.
All right, excellent. And who else said? I heard people say, but I wasn't looking at the screen. Kevin, what you got?
I'm going with Christian Donovan.
Excellent. Go ahead and if you could type that in the chat for me. Mint, what do you got?
We are going with Silas Kurst.
As in C-U-R-S-T?
No, K-U-R-S-T. It's a totally different thing, not related at all.
Excellent.
Oh, wink.
And do you all want first names only or first and last names for your characters on your overlay for next week?
I go with the tide, whatever.
First name's good enough?
Yeah, first name.
First name should be fine.
Beautiful.
Just want to remember it for when NPCs are like, Mr. Keen.
So we have Arlo, Christian, Silas. Will, what did you settle on?
It's always the hardest part. Let's go. I don't know how to spell that guy's name. Jason Smith.
Excellent.
It's Jason with a Y.
Sure.
Wonderful. All right, what am I missing? I'm just missing Sasha's name, right? And you're still working on that?
You might be
Go.
muted.
Oh, can you hear me?
That's
And now,
me.
yeah.
Okay, good. I think I'm gonna go with let's go Margaret Stark.
I love it. So the final question becomes, what brought each of you to Lyndon Station? Do any of you want to know one another going into this, or do you want to be strangers going into this?
We have all been defended by Margaret.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of find the
We
idea
all
since
know
we're
each
all
other
criminals,
through Margaret.
that we have
would-
all been defended by her at one point in time or another. Maybe not together for the same reason, but
Maybe
I
not
mean-
so much. Go ahead.
I mean, she's public defending here, so she takes what she can get for a paycheck, and sometimes it's
I mean, and
people who are very guilty.
a public defender could even be something as simple as like a traffic case or something like that too. So I mean, that's if everyone's good with that through line, or most of you are good with that through line, we could have that be a common thread. That's fine by me. Did you have any
and
thoughts on that, Kevin?
Go ahead, man.
I have a question. It was kind of mainly for Sasha with Margaret's character, but for anyone. Which characters have like grown up or like been in the area for like more than a few years? Like, did Margaret come in like from somewhere else and settle down? Were they born and raised, or?
Good question. I don't think she was born and raised. I think there might have been something in her past. I'm still cooking on it, but I think the idea I had was that she had to take the public defender job at in the middle of basically nowhere, Wisconsin, because it's pretty much the only place that would take her.
I mean, like the population's somewhere between 450 and 500 people.
Mhm. She was
Do you
just,
think-
she needed a job, and
Does the
You-
town
you-
have a courthouse, or would they
you would actually, the county seat is a town called Mauston, Wisconsin, which is about 8 miles from Lyndon Station. So
might just
you would
live there?
work in Mauston. You might just live in Lyndon,
yeah, might
Or
just
you-
live there.
or you might just have clients in Lyndon Station. Like you might not go to Lyndon Station.
It could be. It could also be that it's just much cheaper to live there.
Oh yeah.
Can confirm.
I
Can
think
confirm.
Arlo and Christian should probably know each other, if only because they're in the same like wheelman business, but are completely opposite. Like, you need it there quietly. Donovan will do it. If there's going to be shooting or anything else, your selection switches about volume.
Yeah, I imagine we may have worked together on the same sides of different jobs. Like, because one of the things I was picturing as like part of Arlo's backstory is like he got arrested for a bank heist.
Okay.
And because he took a deal or was tricked into taking a deal, basically, he got, instead of 20, 30 years in prison, he only got like 10. So I imagine like I would go get the stuff and bring it to you, and you're the guy who makes sure it gets to where it needs to be nice and quietly and tamely, without all of the vroom vroom muscle car go very fast, fast and furious, dragging a safe through the streets nonsense.
Less heat, more transporters.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of picturing Arlo as like a Fast and Furious wannabe kind of character, and less of you're more the transporter kind of character. You
Yeah.
get it there in a very professional manner.
Acquisitions, supplies. Acquisitions, logistics. Gotcha.
Nice.
I've probably delivered something to Margaret at some point. Maybe also to Jason, whose name is not typed in the chat yet. Maybe I've delivered something to Silas. I don't know.
Oh, most definitely, because Silas does not let legalities get in the way if they need something for an art project. So probably at least once or twice.
All right. Well, I got my hub.
Excellent.
Did you say one of Arlo's anchors would be family and never turn your back on it?
No. Arlo hates his family with a passion
So,
because of how poorly they treated him. He is loyal to the people he chooses to be loyal to.
Not
There's
the
a family of choice.
Slow in the simmering.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
imagine like he gets along with Margaret because she gets him out of all of the little things like traffic tickets and stuff like that. I don't imagine she gets him out of like all the big stuff, because that usually ends up in like a major city courthouse. But like as he's traveling down the highway and gets pulled over, she can help him get his car out from, the impound lot or stuff like that.
Excellent. Well, so are we going to then assume that most of you or all of you maintain residence there? We don't have any tourists in the immediate, either in Lyndon Station or near Lyndon Station?
Motel room.
Yeah. I mean, Silas grew up there and then promptly left the minute they could for reasons. They're coming back to make amends with family and to attend the high school reunion.
Okay, I love it. Perfect.
So if need be, they have a place to crash with either their brother and or their parents, depending on how that situation plays out. But beyond that, they don't live there. They live several states over. This was just meant to be a quick little vacation.
Excellent. I love it.
I imagine Arlo's is less of a house and more of like a safe house, somewhere that they can pull over and crash for those long journeys. They're not necessarily from the town, but as you were describing earlier with the modes of traffic nearby, they probably end up coming through on various different deliveries when they're trying to be quiet.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. How about, let's see. And Jason has been laying low there since switching from back to the Black Hat type stuff.
So, place to place, decided to settle here because it's easier to steal people's identities if you work at the local gas station. Everybody uses their card, and you just put your own magnetic strip right there to copy theirs.
Okay, so you're going to be an attendant at a gas station.
Yeah, just casually doing that, and maybe hooking up every single ATM machine. Don't use the ATM machines; I will steal your identity.
I love it. I would like you to make a note that you work at. Let's see. The Buck Stop.
Buck Stop.
The Buck Stop is a truck stop. Also, if you've worked there for any length of time, what shift do you think you probably work?
Probably graveyard, because that would be the easiest one, and I'm a hacker, so I'm probably a night owl.
Excellent. I will let you know this much. You're aware that over the last several nights, a fog has rolled in, thick enough that you weren't able to see out to the pumps.
Thick fog.
And
You
when
can put that stuff in a bowl and eat it.
And when that fog rolls in, the whole place dies. Truckers don't come in for bathroom breaks. Nobody goes in or out. It's just a couple hours of absolute dead silence.
Okay. That's when I go into the back and link up and see what I've gotten that day.
I love it.
It's been convenient because the fog's here. Nobody's come in the last. Okay, cool. Somebody comes in, just.
Yeah, I love it.
Always working.
Excellent. And so the idea is that Margaret, through some fault of someone, Margaret wound up sort of being railroaded into becoming the Juneau County Public Defender. Is that right?
Somehow, some way, and she's been eking out a living ever since. I think she might have come from, or might aspire to work in Milwaukee some point. So she's from the state, just not from the area.
Okay, yeah. So probably moved into a rental house or a trailer in Lyndon. Those would be your two options. Would either be like a rental farmhouse or a trailer.
If there's an option, rental farmhouse works entirely. If there's an option, if there's like a business, like a local owned business with just like a side, like a room closet of an office she can rent out.
Okay. So you've got. I'll tell you what. I'll go one better. You have one of the few storefronts on the main drag in Lyndon Station. You are next door to a restaurant by the name of Grandma's.
Perfect.
And you're in a duplex. The bottom floor has been converted into your law office, so it's just an apartment that you've turned into a law office. And the top floor is like a one bedroom, like not even a one bedroom, like an economy. Like you have a Murphy bed in there, and like
perfect.
Just say Better Call Saul.
Hey, we name dropped it.
So you're, just a little piece of fun local trivia. Your office is 2 blocks away from the cardboard cop that sits on the side of the road to deter speeding.
That I don't care about.
I haven't been back in many a year, but I bet that cardboard cop is still there.
Out of curiosity, because I was doing my skill specialties, are you okay with a larceny specialty of carjacking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that just fits.
Right?
Okay. So do we know what about Silas? Is Silas living in the area? Is Silas staying in the area? Is Silas taking a break from the jilted lover and going to enjoy some like water parks in the Dells or something? Like, what's going on? What's Silas's story?
Silas is on the tail end of discovering their lover has been cheating on them and is like, you know what? I thought I was doing great in life. Turns out I'm not. I need to hang on to the people that actually do care about me. And they're like, hey, maybe that brother that I had a screaming match with and haven't talked to for like several years now, maybe it actually is time to make amends. So it's kind of like they took a bus or a plane, whichever is more thematically appropriate. I leave that up for however you want to interpret it, just to come visit for about a week or two, spend some time with their brother, like talk through things, reestablish connection, and then go back home and, you know,
Are they
also
planning?
maybe take.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
They may also be taking the time to stop some very, very dangerous anger impulses, because it's kind of hard to kill someone when you're several states away. At the very least, you can't do it personally.
That's fair. So would they be pursuing, like, would their plan going there be to stay with family, I guess? Or would it be to...
It would be
Okay.
to, if their brother isn't like wanting to have them stay with them, like they would have tried to reach out and be like, hey, look, I want to like take this time to like reconnect. Is it okay if I come up and visit you for a little while? And if they say like, you don't stay with me, like it'll be okay, cheap hotel it is. Like cheap hotel it is. Whatever way the dice falls with them and their family, it's either with them or a cheap ass hotel basement.
If you have no
Okay.
objection to it, what we'll say is, for the sake of the story, we'll say that your brother lives in a town called New Lisbon, which is about 45-minute drive from Lyndon Station. And we will assume that at the start of next session, you're on your way back from spending the day bonding at the water parks in the Dells and the various tourist attractions. If water parks aren't your thing, there's also a Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's some Area 51 museum, I think there now. There's all sorts of fun stuff on the Dells Strip. Magic shows, all kinds of... It's like a little Vegas.
It's the we have Vegas at home of Vegas's.
Yeah, it's Wisconsin's answer to Las Vegas, for as depressing as that might sound.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun. I want to go see it.
The
The
Dells.
Dells, listen, the Dells is actually really super fun, I'm sure, for most people who didn't grow up right next to it.
I remember a duck boat ride when I was a kid. I mean,
Duck-
for what that...
there is the ducks. Yeah, you can ride in a duck. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on there. There's Robot World and all sorts of like sky and stage shows. There's a lot for someone looking for entertainment. Though that does fall off in the winter months. But what was that?
I said, yep, that's fine by me. However you need to set it up is good to go.
All right, cool. And who have I not covered how you got into town? Have I not covered yet with Christian?
Not yet, but I mean, it feels kind of organic, making a delivery.
All right, fair. Cool.
I imagine we probably both stay at the same safe house.
Maybe I'd probably stay away from safe houses though. Like I'd probably be in hotels just constantly on the move, something cash, because I feel like I'm being hunted. So
That's valid. Yeah, not necessarily
anybody at a
going.
motel.
It's you might crash in the same motel or
When
How
I
does
say
this-
safe house, I just imagine like someone bought cache a trailer home and put that shit on an unowned plot in the woods.
I mean,
Like-
there's places like that. So why don't we say this to give some interesting tension and a little bit of maybe connection between your characters, maybe a little bit of reason to seek one another out. What if there's a couple of places, like we'll say abandoned trailer, a couple of like campsite areas that have been, they're sort of known to the smugglers that move through the region, and the distinct absence of Arlo's acquaintance Christian in those places the last few weeks might be cause enough for Arlo to have an ear to the ground as to where Christian might be. Does that sound about fair?
Yeah.
That does sound pretty cool. I was going to say, if somebody else had been coming out of town, I could have been transporting them. And if the fog is rolling in, I might be pulling into a gas station where a certain attendant is. So,
All sound
just
good.
meat for the grist,
And you will be carrying a suitcase, which you, I assume, are unaware of its contents.
Well, if I open it, it's just a golden light, and I'm never going to show it to the camera anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like we said, you're the transporter. You're not supposed to look at the cargo. It's against your rules.
Right. Exactly.
I'm the guy that would look at the
Rules.
cargo.
Well, having said that, then, is there anyone that feels like there are any elements of their character or this setup that we haven't yet got? Do you have any questions about where we're at? Are there any places in your character sheet that didn't get filled out? Is there anything that might be missing or that you feel you wanted to convey before we call it an early night and tuck ourselves into the last night of peaceful rest that you will all receive this month as we delve into the fog over Lyndon Station?
I like that warm mic when you come in. Everything's fine. Ready for what's coming. No, I feel good mathematically and thematically. This is I see him and I like where he's going.
Awesome. Cool. Well, in that case, then I will have everyone give their pertinence one last time, but this time let's include your character as well. So if you could please, starting with this time, let's start things off with Will. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
All right. I am the Will, though that is important, I think. I don't exist online, but if you want to see people who force me to exist online, go to at _Rolling Nomads on Twitter or the Rolling Nomads on Twitch and YouTube. I'm playing Jason Smith, hacker extraordinaire, except for that time he got caught and his desperate desire to also get caught again so he can get his job back.
Recidivism as a character. I love it.
Yeah. What was the other things you asked?
Your character's pronouns and anything you want to promote.
Yeah. So this is a he, him. I'm a he, they. And I don't have anything really to promote.
Well, I will shout out the Rolling Nomads for you because you all make some amazing stuff on the Twitches. So.
Oh, yeah.
And I always forget, is the underscore in your Twitch name or no?
No, the underscore is not in the Twitch name. That's only in the Twitter, at _ the Rolling Nomads.
There you go. Go over there, shoot follow, sub to them, watch their streams. They run an amazing Scion game here on Sundays and lots of very cool stuff throughout the week. Sorry, I just saw a bot that I need to destroy.
What, Destiny 6?
Yep. So, sorry about that. Thank you very much, The Will, for that breakdown. Next up, Sasha, please give us all of your pertinent details.
Hi, I'm Sasha, she, they. I am at Hey, I'm Spidey on Twitter and Hey, it's Spidey here on Twitch. I am playing Margaret Stark, the lawyer in Way Over Her Head, who definitely doesn't have anything that's going to come back to bite her.
Not a thing.
Her pronouns are she, her.
Beautiful. And anything you wanted to promote? Anything you wanted to point people toward?
The MMO Final Fantasy 14 is free to play. No, okay.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's true.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
This is,
If they're sponsoring, I'm not going to turn it down.
this is all true. Oh yeah, we'll take a check.
You're
from anybody.
advertising here.
Lord
Now
VPN.
I would have turned down really shady money, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, send us your money. We'll talk about whatever you want.
I'll shout it out for you.
I belong to the Winston Zeddemore School of Ethics. If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
I love that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Winston Zeddemore, that's a terrible segue. I was trying to go somewhere. I had nowhere to go. But please, Kevin, give us your pertinence.
I don't get the segue, but I'm flattered by it because Ernie Hudson's my man. Yes, Kevin Zarnicki, he, him, playing Christian Donovan. Likewise, he, him. Very little his. Not much owned either way. But yeah, a lot of game design, voiceover. I teach. You can follow me now at Necromancy 101 on Twitter. Besides that, look for my name in Catalyst, Game Labs, and Onyx Path products.
Sweet.
Let me know if you want to learn how to do voiceover or game design or writing. I'm hustling. I have kids.
Listen, all I'm saying is if, I wouldn't cry if I found a way to get paid to work that sewage trick into an official supplement sometime. That's all I'm saying. if you know a guy.
Travis, email me because I like to put together teams of writers for my chapters, help people build resume and connections. So if you want to do some business with Catalyst, for better or worse, just let me know.
We love Catalyst Game Labs here at the Onyx Path, and I personally love Shadowrun, so I'll be happy to send you that email. And try not to blush or cry while I'm talking. Jim, your pertinence, please.
I am Jim or James, they, he. I will be playing Arlo Keen, the probably should have been a real stunt driver instead of a criminal. They are also a they, he, because it makes life easy. I don't have to remember different things because my personal memory is garbage. And I don't really have anything I feel like promoting today.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for for being here, but also for your technical acumen and lightening the load on your poor storyteller. It's appreciated.
No problem.
And last but not least, that brings us to Mint. Your pertinence, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mince. Again, any pronouns work. I will be playing for you for our little action play here, Silas Cursed. They go by they, them. Just a lovely little pastel goth thembo artist who totally has no skeletons in the closet besides just some family problems, and they're here to make things right.
I look forward to seeing their journey. With that, I have been Travis Legge, he, they. When I'm not running games here, I'm writing them. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you to wash your hands, wear a mask, get your shots, take care of yourselves so that you can take care of each other. And lead with a little love. Go do something nice for somebody. It'll make you feel good. And we'll talk to you more soon. Bye.